Hi there, I'm the Utopian Trainer. Here's very quick. Got to do this really quickly. My kid is currently doing something with kindergarten online, and even though I think I want to have time to be free to do something, but no, still my attention is being demanded for something. Those of you who have children will know what this is like. So I'm going to be really quick now, and maybe also you listen to this and have you. So let's get started. 5 ways in which you can develop your utopian consciousness and your utopian skills. Number 1 is do a home beach. I had this idea like last Saturday, and then I did it just spontaneously. The sun was shining in the living room. I just went and I was just lying there in my swimming trunks. My kids did the same. Got some towels out. We were lying on them. And we were lying there doing sunbathing, talking about, oh, what was it like on the beach? What's it like? What do you feel? What are the smells? What are the sights? What are the things you hear? What's it like when you go into the sea, is it cold? What's it like after you've been in the sea for a bit longer? What's like the waves, the stones around your feet? Is it a stony beach or non-stony beach? Seaweed going around you to tentatively go into the water up to here. What are all these things like? Yeah. And to help this, I tried to do actually less things online. I find that actually limit to replicating things in real life and doing them online, and actually hurts my eye a bit, which is a bit my slightly dodgy eye. But it kind of helps to have the sound of waves and seabirds happening while we were doing this. Now, my children enjoyed this. I enjoyed this as well. And it just kind of took us away from this kind of being stuck inside. Oh no, we can't go out. But you can move out in your minds. And this is something we need for utopia. The ability to develop the ability to imagine something that isn't currently in existence. And not only to be there some kind of intellectual activity and what are the pros and cons of this, but this is also an emotional, physical thing. And emotionally and physically imagining that you are in something else that is not currently in existence. This is a really important thing. So you can be doing this. And even when the sun is not shining, just imagine the sun is shining. That's what I did on Sunday. Point number 2 is dress up. Now, maybe for some of you it's a liberation at the moment to not be having to wear smart clothes to go to work and enjoying being more scruffy being at home. Myself, I actually like to look smart. And on Sundays, I normally go to church. I normally make a bit of an effort to look a bit like smart casual. So how about you just keep up with doing this, yeah? Even if you're not going to be going out doing the things you normally do, like Wednesday night, Friday night, you normally go out dancing, whatever, you're getting all dressed up. How about you do that anyway? But just have get dressed up and listen to music inside. It's not the same thing, but we can trick ourselves that something else is happening other than what is happening now. And this relates to the first point of developing your imagination. And it's also, however, time for experimentation, even though within your family or the people you're living with at home, there can be a degree of judgmentalism. However, there's less than there is if you go outside and dressed up, say, as a tiger, I don't know, or your hair tied up in different ways, or you haven't grow hair anyway with a beard, or you're not decided to shave. You can experiment with how you look, because in utopia you will be a different person. You're going to be a different personality. In fact, for utopia, excuse me, I insist you have to change your personality. So let's start doing this through experimental things. The third point is embracing solitude. Some of you are not having solitude. Some of you, like me, are having less solitude at the moment. However, for all of us, we need to develop the ability to live with ourselves as individuals and to face up to ourselves. This isn't easy to do. This can require support from people. However, the simple ability, I'm on my own, and I'm not going to try to preoccupy myself with something else to passively take something in, but rather I'm going to actively draw with or paint with my weak hand, for example, or doing things I don't normally do at home that have to make me be more self-reflective, or yoga if you're not normally doing that. You can get into that at this time. Those of you who have children, and I mean in our situation here it's difficult because my wife is at home doing the work, and I'm just spending most of my time trying to stop the kids from going to, but by keeping them busy. And therefore, I've had to learn to fight for, there's a time in the week, in the day or in the week in which I can have time for myself. And those of you who've got 2 people working at home, just build time. There's time, because I found in the evening after the children go to sleep, I don't want to really do anything anyway, because I'm too tired, exhausted from looking after the kids. However, all of you should be saying to whoever it is you're living with, there's time in which I want to be left alone. And the other people should be then doing everything they can to make sure that you can have this time to alone, even if it's just half an hour. Because this is a way of self-care, of self-love. And this is something even though maybe young kids don't get it, certainly mine don't, but simply that the ability to show love to yourself is something that we need to bring to our children no, that's German, to pass on to our kids. And I don't mean we just close the door and they're going to be hammering on the door, let me in, and crying and everything. No, we're needing like adult support with this. And I think this is something what we can be doing. So, number 4 is recipes. We're all cooking. Maybe you have less time for cooking. Maybe I'm finding my children, I might be less creative with cooking now because my children not being here more, eating more, here more, they're actually more fussy with food than I would normally be, or my wife. However, now's the time for being creative with recipes and maybe involving your kids with this. Yeah, something just spontaneously occurred to me with that. And just trying different things out. What's this got to do with utopia? It's like creativity and preparing for leisure, because in the future we may have more leisure with an increase in optimization. Something spontaneously just occurred to me, so this is like then going to be number 5, is learn not to be perfectionist. So I've just said, okay, you can learn like new skills and all this kind of business, but take time to be lazy. And I think there is this like new liberal drang, this new liberal like demand to self-optimization. Now is a time in which you think, I am not going to do anything useful today. Now, doing things which you consider to be useful can be something which are good for the mental health. If you excuse me 1 moment. I'm doing a video. Could you wait 5 minutes? That's great, mate. That's great. What a great son. He's going to come back afterwards. And you think, oh no, today I'm at home, therefore I'm going to learn Spanish, I'm going to learn Korean or something to make myself useful. This can be good for mental health, however, depend on, just look at your motivation, thinking maybe I need to learn to be lazy at this time. Maybe I need to learn to do nothing at this time and to live with that, to live with just doing, not being this person who's always having to use my private time to do things to benefit myself for my work time. Like I am doing training, I'm going to jog and do all this kind of stuff at home in order so I can think better when I'm at work and make myself more marketable. Yeah, this is neoliberalism. Maybe this can be a time for learning to be lazy, embracing laziness, embracing just like looking out the window and looking at the sky, embracing just staring at the walls, embracing just doing nothing productive but doing things which are having fun. Yeah. The developments of utopia is going to involve a moving out of this neoliberalistic kind of I have to do things productively, improve myself, which of course goes along with expanding capitalism, using more of the resources of Earth. This all like ties together. So, I mean, I've done a video in the past about this before, though, the ability to be lazy. And the last point, so point 6, is move yourself into the front of the brain. In fact, I've just saw another point while saying that. Moving things into the front of the brain. So we can be worried, we can be scared about people we know who maybe are more at risk from getting this virus. We can be having more time of frustration during the day by being more with people. There's a lot of people being stuck at home with other people, and this is really bringing like a lot of tensions, really making things very clear. And the patience that you would normally have more, there's probably less patience now. So a little activity I'm finding is that the part of the brain that kind of deals with the reptilian part, the instinctive part, the emotional part, the rational part, there is this, however, part of the brain, the front of the brain, the frontal cortex, which is actually more of the self-managing, the self-observing. So there's times we think we can have the emotion, we can have the event, but we're not necessarily going to be dominated by it. That this is just going to be something we can actually not necessarily fully participating in, but we're actually participating while at the same time observing what's happening. And I find with myself, I just like physically think, I'm really wound up now, but now, deep breathe in, deep breathe out, and concentrate on this part of the brain and telling myself, I am the manager, not my emotions. I am the manager. I determine how I act, and not my fears, not my anger. And this is something I just recommend. It's something very simple, and I've not seen a video about this. I've just made this up based upon, of course, on some like pranayama. And the last point that I've spontaneously just come up with is forgive. Learn to forgive. Maybe I should do a whole video about this. Every day you're having to be maybe more forgiving of yourself for not being productive or being too productive, or the people who are living with are maybe really annoying you, or maybe you've done things or said things that you were like ashamed of doing or saying during this time. And now is a time for learning to forgive yourself. We're all human. We're all having to deal with our problems, and there's more tension at this time. And you're seeing this being put externally. Yeah, someone outside, let's just hate them because they've how dared to go outside. And people who are they look like they're from China, even if they're not. Ooh, kind of. No, now we have the time to look at ourselves, forgive ourselves, and pay attention and be more compassionate to ourselves and to those who we are living with at the moment. So these are like, how many have I got now? 6? Was that 7 now? Simple things that you can do to develop your utopian consciousness at home. So this could be a really good time for you to help ourselves and to work for better societies. So I'm going to wish you all then a good day. Bye, everyone.